Welcome back everybody, I hope you're having a great day today and I hope you're ready for what we're going to read today. It's going to be an amazing episode today and I hope you're ready for this. Before we get into the episode, I want to give a shout out to Rayleigh26 in the comments. Rayleigh left a comment that said, Vincey, with the longer episodes it'd be great to get a more fun story like today I messed up, or malicious compliance for every one or two am I the a-hole or entitled people stories. I thought that was such a good idea. So that's what we're going to do in today's episode. For every two am I the gay-hole stories, I'm going to have a fun today I messed up story, just to sort of break up the horrifying content. And yeah, thank you for that suggestion. And before we get into the episode, if you could like the video and subscribe if you want to, that would be amazing. And let's get into story number 1. Am I the a-hole for using my sister's words against her and saying that she should feel lucky to have her kids and to have all that time with them? I, 32 female, have been lower contact with my sister Jade, 33 female, for almost 3 years. I have fertility issues and I've been unable to conceive naturally or with any fertility medication. When Jade was pregnant with her third child, I'd ended my time on a fertility medication. At that time, I was upset to be at the end of another option in my fertility journey. Jade sent me a text a couple of days after I finished and bluntly asked me if I was pregnant yet. The text came from nowhere and the tone felt very harsh, but we had been close, so I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt, and I told her unfortunately no, but it wasn't the end. She came over to my house later that day and told me that she was pregnant again, her third child, and that I should quit making a big deal out of having kids and just be grateful that I get to spend time with her kids. She said that she'd been ready to announce her pregnancy the day that I'd ended my time on the fertility medication, and then mum goes and asks me about it in the family group chat, which is for the two of us and our parents. I told her that I had no idea, and if she'd wanted to announce, I wouldn't have blamed her. She said that I might not have, but everybody would have thought that she was selfish and insensitive. She told me that I should just accept that I'm meant to be a babysitter, not a mother. She told me to feel lucky for what I had and to embrace it, and I could be useful to her more. My husband and I babysat a lot for Jade and her husband. I was also her second birthing partner for her first 2 kids, because her husband isn't the best in medical situations. It did hurt me to hear Jade talk like that, but I didn't want to think the worst of her, and I asked her if she was okay, if anything was wrong, and she made it so clear that she really didn't care about me and saw me as a useful tool, a babysitter, instead of a person who had her own stuff going on. She even told me she was glad that it failed because I could give up and focus on her kids. At that point, I pulled way back and we're no longer close in any kind of way. Jade was surprised at first, and then she told me that I was just selfish and trying to be something that I wasn't meant to be, meaning a mum. So Jade is a giant a-hole to you, and then she turns around and calls you selfish. My parents were upset with what Jade had said, and they asked her to apologize to me, but she never has. She defended her stance and said that I could be of better use. Like what? You only exist to serve your sister? Oh, she sucks. When her parents told her that it was so wrong to talk to me like that, she said it was fine, and I was never that great of a babysitter anyway, and they're better off without me. Could Jade be more of an a-hole? My husband and I are still trying to get pregnant, but we're also focusing on staying mentally healthy during all of this, and I prioritized therapy for a while after the breakdown in my relationship with Jade. A few days ago, Jade texted me and asked me to babysit her 4 kids. She still got the audacity to ask you to babysit. 2 were in school, so I need to pick them up after school, and the other 2 I was supposed to have all day. She said that she had some kind of doctor's appointment and our parents said no. I replied with a simple no. She texted back that I needed to do this. No, you don't. And that she couldn't bring her kids to the hospital with her. Oh, Jade is so frustrating. The whole world doesn't revolve around you, Jade. I shared my previous response of no and I left it there. She told me that I needed to step up and that she had to reschedule a few times already because she has the kids so much and she needed to go and couldn't have them with her. This is not your responsibility. You don't need to step up. She's acting like they're your kids. Where I might be the a-hole is I sent her a longer reply this time and I told her she should feel lucky to have her kids and to be grateful that she has all that time with them, using her own words against her after 3 years. Jade went nuts after that, but I ignored every text and I didn't read most of them. But she told me that it wasn't the time and a hospital appointment is a big deal. Am I the a-hole? Absolutely not. By the sounds of it, Jade is insufferable. She's so nasty and so self-centered. And for whatever reason, she feels like she can be so rude to you. The disrespect is out of control. Yeah, the top comment, not the a-hole. Jade can pound sand. She absolutely can. Yeah, take a hike, Jade. The second top comment says not the a-hole. She hasn't been very empathetic or considerate towards you during your fertility struggles, has belittled you and insulted you, undermined you, and yet is still expecting you to bend over backwards for her when it comes to babysitting duties. You don't owe her anything, and you deserve to focus on yourself and starting a family. Stick to your boundaries and don't allow your mother or anybody else to guilt you into doing stuff you don't want to do. Plus, if you were never that good of a babysitter anyway, then she should find somebody who is. And OP said, I wanted to say that to her actually, but then I also knew that I shouldn't engage too much either, because she she already had my answer. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be saying a lot more if I were you, OP. I don't know that saying a lot more would even really help. Jade doesn't really seem like the type of person to consider her own behavior and how it affects other people, so I don't feel like it'd probably change anything, but it might make you feel a bit better. But also, like the comment below that one says, good for you, OP. Do yourself a favor and just block her. I feel sorry for your nieces and nephews growing up with a mother like her. Best of luck on your fertility journey. Not the a-hole. Yeah, that's the annoying thing with people like this. Like, there are so many things that you want to say to them, but they're self-centered and they're not reasonable, so saying stuff to them wouldn't even help anyway. Yeah, I feel like getting as far away from these sorts of people as you can is kind of like the only thing you can do. This comment says, her insensitivity to a very painful experience for you is mind-blowing. You're not the a-hole, and I'm sorry you're going through infertility. You deserve to be a mum. And OP said, thank you. It hurts more when it's somebody you were so close to for so long. The fact that I never let my infertility stop me from being happy for her or there for her, and she still reacted like she did, makes it even more hurtful. Yeah, that's right, OP. You've been really kind to her. You've been supportive of her. You've been loving, and she treats you with disrespect and is acting like you've never done anything for her, and all the while saying a whole bunch of awful, nasty stuff. Like, so self-centered too. Like, where she would repeatedly say that there's more that OP could do to help. Like, OP isn't your servant, Jade. Yeah, this comment, not the a-hole. Jade sounds incredibly self-centered and dismissive of your feelings and boundaries. The fact that she told you to feel lucky to be around her kids, completely dismissed your struggles with infertility, and treated you like a babysitting service is deeply hurtful and disrespectful. Using her own words against her might have been blunt, but it seems like she needed a reminder of how dismissive and insensitive she's been. Yeah, for sure, but she doesn't even see it that way. It's so clear that you've been generous with your time and energy for years, even at the expense of your own mental health. Setting boundaries, especially with somebody who's been as dismissive and demanding as Jade, is not selfish. It's necessary for your well-being. She needs to learn that relationships aren't one-sided, and that your life and your feelings matter too. Her hospital appointment might be important, but that doesn't erase the years of hurt that she caused, or entitle her to your time and help, especially when she's repeatedly shown you that she doesn't value you beyond what you can do for her. Stick to your boundaries, OP. You're doing the right thing. Yeah, what a frustrating way to start the episode today. Okay, moving on to post number 2. This one's a post about calling off a wedding. Am I the a-hole for wanting to call off my wedding after my fiance killed my plants? I've been away visiting my parents in a different city, and I have 2 plants back home which are water propagated. So basically, he didn't even have to water them, just keep their containers filled, and he still let the water dry out and my plants died. I'm genuinely so upset that I want to call off the wedding, and he thinks it's not a big deal and that I'm overreacting over nothing. This is not the first time he's done this, and I forgave him last time because it was his first time taking care of a demanding plant, but now he's been seeing me grow these plants for the past 2 years, yet he still doesn't care enough to keep the containers filled up. Edit, well, I really didn't expect this post to blow up like it did. Thank you to everybody who took the time to comment, and reading through the replies, I think I've unintentionally written one of the most polarizing posts on this subreddit. I just want to clarify a few things. I didn't mean to imply that I'm going to make a huge decision like calling off the wedding instantly. I wrote this post in a moment of frustration and hurt, and I felt so disrespected because I put a lot of time and care into these plants, and it felt like such a small, simple thing to keep the containers filled when I was away. I'll admit this wasn't just about the plants, it's about what they represented, trust and care and effort. And it stung even more because it's not the first time something like this has happened. I made this post because I felt unheard, and I wanted to vent about how I was feeling in the moment. As of now, my fiance did give me an overall apology and said that he'd buy me new plants, but I'm still waiting for a proper, meaningful apology where he truly acknowledges why this hurt me so much. I haven't decided anything yet, and I just need time to think and process everything. Again, thank you to everybody for sharing your perspectives. It has given me a lot to think about. Okay, so from what I can see in the Reddit comments, it definitely seems like a not the a-hole sort of consensus. This comment says, I mean, if this makes you not want to marry him, then yeah, man, call off the wedding. Nobody should marry somebody they don't want to marry, even if it is for an unusual reason. Not the a-hole. The comment below that says, this is a great point. The fact that somebody will consider calling off a wedding, for whatever reason, suggests that maybe the wedding shouldn't take place. Yeah, I feel like that's a good point in these sorts of stories about like calling off a wedding. I feel like it is one of those things, if you're having doubts, if you are feeling like calling off the wedding for whatever reason, yeah, maybe the wedding isn't the best idea. Like, a wedding is one of those things that you want to be 100% sure about. And yeah, OP's talking about like the plants, but still though, OP's having doubts and OP's thinking about calling off the wedding. So the fact that they feel like that, I feel like they probably should call off the wedding. I'm sure it's a situation where it's like the tip of the iceberg, you know, like I'm sure there are other stuff that they're considering, not just the thing with the plants. And I don't feel that comfortable really speaking about what somebody else should do in this sort of situation. Like, this is your choice. It's going to be your wedding. I don't want to tell you what to do, OP, but if you're having doubts, shots, then you probably shouldn't do it. Yeah, the comment below that comment says, I feel like the plant thing might be the tip of the iceberg, and it's maybe hiding a lot of more legitimate reasons to call off the wedding. Lack of respect, poor communication, maturity levels, to name a few at the tip of my tongue. But it hardly matters what other people think. Do you love him enough to where these problems are minor annoyances and can be something you two work on together? Or is it going to cause resentment and a much more heated breakup down the line? The comment below that one says, not the a-hole. Him not respecting your things and feelings are a red flag, because would he do this still after getting married? Would he fully contribute to housework? If you two have children, would he be an equal parent and do his part? This one says, not the a-hole. It's not about the plants, but what they meant to you. They were something that you cared for and invested your time and energy in. It's the fact that he can't see and respect something that was important to you. This comment says, not the a-hole. He thinks that it's not a big deal and that I'm overreacting over nothing. No respect, no guilt. Yeah, good call to not marry him. There are also comments like this one that say, not the a-hole. I quote from OP's comment. He thought it was funny that they died. And I don't know if it's a deleted comment, but I can't seem to find that comment. So we did that on purpose to show you what's really important to him. Yeah, you're right to call off the wedding. This guy just proved to you that he's first and you're second. That there's no partnership between you and that your feelings and opinions are not valid as long as they're not exactly the same as his. They are just plants, but it's more symbolic. What you care for, he doesn't care for. For a future husband, your well-being is most important. It was only 2 days and I suppose it was a few minutes each day. Not taking care of them for hours. What would it be like with pets or children? People who told you that'll be different with children, how could you believe them if they can't show you that they're responsible for little things? Good luck, OP, you'll find somebody more mature. Edit to explain where the quote came from. Oh yeah, well if he actually said that he thought it was funny that they died, that's awful. That makes it so much worse. Wait a second, I found the comment. OP commented they weren't expensive, but I spent a lot of time growing them and taking care of them, and he thought it was funny that they died and told me that I was overreacting when I got upset. This just shows me that he can't even take care of a pet if we got one. Kids are far off. Oh my god, that makes it so much worse. I'm sorry that I didn't see that comment until now. That makes it way worse. OP, you should have said in the post that he said it was funny that they died. That's so unbelievably awful. So yeah, he absolutely did it on purpose because he said that he thought it was funny that they died. Oh yeah, for sure. Get rid of him, OP. Like I said a second ago, maybe it was the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, it was. Oh, that's terrible. I've got no idea why you didn't put that in the post, OP, because that makes it make so much more sense as to why you want to call off the wedding. You really need to put that in the post. He thought it was funny that they died and told me that I was overreacting when I got upset. He's an a-hole. What sort of inconsiderate partner would find it funny that something that their partner cared about died? That is so wild. Okay, everybody, moving on to post number 3. This one's on the Today I Messed Up subreddit, and it's going to be so fun. This is our first Today I Messed Up story. Today I messed up by doing anything I want with my friend if I won games of Mario Kart against her. My friend and I would enjoy playing video games together, but on several occasions she would want to up the stakes and make things more interesting. Her proposal was that if she won a game of Mario Kart against me, she could do anything she wanted with me, and if I won, I could do anything I wanted with her. Little did she know how good at Mario Kart I was. The first couple of victories were harmless enough. I'd win the race and say things like, "You've got to talk like Wario for the next race," or "I get to borrow your DVDs," most of which was wildly amusing and diabolical for me to ask her. But the thing about it is that I kept on winning, and being the dope I was, I thought I was on a hot streak getting all of this free stuff from her, and I played it up like I was some kind of pompous court gesture gallivanting across the courtyard. Every now and again she'd put the same offer back on the table, and I'd keep on winning, and she would make her frustration known the more she kept on losing races in Mario Kart. And it didn't help that I'd brag about my victories within our circle of friends, celebrating with invisible trophies and spraying imaginary champagne. It wouldn't be until we were older and grown apart that she would disclose to me that she was a little bit upset by the whole thing, because she would practice playing Mario Kart for hours before racing against me, in the hopes of winning, and the reason that she wanted to win was because she found me to be handsome, and didn't know how to initiate this attraction that she had. The whole time she was hoping that I'd ask her for a kiss whenever I'd win, but me being the dumbass that I was, I kept on asking to borrow her Linkin Park albums, and to draw buff kittens with sleeve tattoos. So not only did I miss my shot with my friend, I also broke her heart every time I'd clench victory from her on the final lap, performing the miracle last second overtake maneuver or cackling like a cartoon villain whenever the spiky blue shell of doom would nuke her dreams. That is so funny. It's so funny when somebody is really oblivious. This comment says, "I get that she was trying to be cute and I approve, but she really should have just gone and asked you for it after a few rounds of failure." This comment says, "Not a mess up. A kiss is temporary. Mario Kart glory is forever." This comment says, "Just say anybody as terrible as her at Mario Kart isn't good enough for you. Don't contact me again." here. Yeah, oh my god, you think I'd kiss you? You're so terrible at Mario Kart, you're not worthy. That was such a fun post. It is nice to read these in between the Am I the A-hole stories. And speak of the devil, moving on to post number 4. This one's on Am I the A-hole? Am I the A-hole for refusing to name my son after my late brother? Using a throwaway account because this has caused a lot of drama in my family, and I don't want them finding this. I, 28 female, am pregnant with my first child, a boy, due in a few months. My husband, 29 male, and I have been discussing names, and we finally agreed on one that we love. However, my mum recently suggested that we name the baby after my late brother Ethan, who passed away when I was 16. Ethan was 20 when he died in a car accident, and while it was tragic, he and I weren't close. In fact, he bullied me a lot growing up, calling me names and mocking my interests and even getting physical a few times. My parents always brushed it off as siblings being siblings, but it left me with a lot of resentment. When my mum suggested that we name the baby Ethan, I politely said no. She got upset and said that it would be a beautiful way to honor my brother's memory. When I explained how I felt about Ethan and our relationship, she told me that I was being cold-hearted and disrespecting the dead. Other family members have chimed in saying that I'm being selfish and that I need to think about what this would mean to my mum, not just myself. Oh, get out of here. You and your partner get to name your child OP, not your mum. My husband is completely supportive of my decision and says it's our baby, so the name should reflect what we want. Of course, not what others want. But now I'm starting to wonder if I'm being unfair to my mum, who's clearly still grieving. Am I the a-hole for refusing to name my son after my late brother? Not even a little bit. What the hell are they talking about? Oh, you're being selfish because you don't want to do this? No, you're not. Oh my god, that one's infuriating. You're not being selfish because you want to choose your son's name? Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole. Your child is not a replacement or a stand-in for the son they lost. Yeah, but you're selfish if you don't name your son after your brother? Hell no. Absolutely not. And that's very telling of those family members who said that you were being selfish. The second top comment says, not the a-hole. And tell your mother that maybe you'd have better memories of your brother if she did anything when you told her he was bullying you. Yeah, what? This one is so frustrating. OP, it's not your responsibility to name your child what your mum wants just because your mum feels like you should. Hey, is this your mum's child? No. This comment says, not the a-hole. I'm being honest here, your mother's being a bitch. They don't have a say in naming your baby. And honestly, just because your brother is dead, it doesn't mean that love is gonna bloom because of it. I know, because if my father drops dead tomorrow, I'll never feel a shred of sympathy. Set firm boundaries and congratulations on your baby's arrival. Yeah, like nice suggestion, mum. Like suggesting that OP might want to name their son after their late brother. Yeah, that's okay. But getting upset and calling OP selfish when they don't want to is not okay. The comment below that says, tell her to have another son. This one's yours, not the a-hole. Yeah, and your son is their own unique person. It's not a replacement son for your mum. The comment below that one says, not the a-hole. Since your parents preferred your brother, naming your child after him could lead to a very unhealthy situation there. If your parents are usually this overbearing and toxic and unsupportive, I'd be reconsidering their role in your kid's life. The top comment says, no, you're entitled to name your son whatever you want. Definitely not the a-hole. The comment below that says, yeah, and props to hubby for stepping up too. It's your child and it's up to you guys. Yeah, and I feel like that's so obvious. Like the audacity of the family members is so wild. Am I the a-hole for blocking my step siblings and my dad's wife while I'm at my mum's house? My parents broke up when I was 17, Mel was 4. My dad got married when I was 6 and divorced her when I was 9, but he had a son with his first wife. My parents were never married. My half-brother is 9. I don't remember the last time I saw him. His mum moved out of state with him years ago. My dad remarried when I was 11 and his wife already had 3 kids. My step-siblings are 15, 13 and 12. To cut to the chase, I don't really like my dad. I don't think he's a very good dad. His wife is annoying and I hate having to be around her. She feels like marrying my dad gave her the authority to make me into her kids. She goes to church and she tried to drag me with her and her kids. She tried to make me read the Bible and embrace her religion. She called my mum a bad parent for sending me to a public school. And there's a whole bunch of stuff like that she's done where I can't stand her. My step-siblings aren't bad, but I don't see my dad marrying their mum as enough to make them my siblings, especially when my dad's a pretty bad dad overall, and their mum is so annoying that I'd like to yeet her into space, and they annoy me when they try to make me responsible for them, and go to their mum so I need to take them places when I'm with dad. This got worse after my mum got me a car and I started driving. The expectations of what I do went way up. So months ago, my mum took dad back to court to change the custody agreement, and the judge said I only need to spend 8 days a month with my dad. That could be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday twice a month, or each weekend. I went with the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday because I want weekends not spent with him. I'm not allowed to block my dad on my phone. I can't mute him or ignore calls or texts from him according to the judge, but I do block his wife and stepkids. Last weekend, my stepsister 15 was trying to call me while I was at my mum's, and I didn't know because she was blocked. She'd been some someplace with friends and they abandoned her. It was starting to get late too. She ended up calling her mum after trying me for ages, and she said that she'd tried to call me since she knows that I'd be closer. When they got back, they told my dad, and I don't know if he didn't care or just let his wife handle it, but she called me up on his phone and yelled at me for ignoring the calls. Dad called me a couple of days later and asked me why I didn't answer, and I said I had no idea that she'd called. He asked me how, and I said I just didn't. I had to go there on Thursday, and his wife took my phone from my hand and saw that I didn't get the calls. They figured out from there that I'd blocked her during my mum's parenting time. Then they realised the reason I never replied to my dad's wife or my step-siblings when I'm at my mum's, because I must have them all blocked. I'm so glad that I get to go home later today, but it's been tough here, and my dad's wife has been berating me for being such a crappy older brother to her kids. Am I the a-hole? The top comment says, not the a-hole. You don't have any responsibility to your dad's wife's kids. And OP said, I shouldn't, but they give it to me when I'm there. It's why I'm so glad that I spend less time over there now. And the second top comment says, no, you're not the a-hole. It's not your responsibility to respond to them. And OP said, it shouldn't be, but at their house they make me responsible for them. I hate it, and especially when I'm running to pick them up like they should be. And this comment says, not the a-hole. You're not a crappy older brother, because you're not their older brother. You go there to see your dad. And OP responded, that's the way that it's supposed to be. I'd prefer it way more if I didn't go at all, but only a few more months and then I'm done. All the best with it, OP. And moving on to post number 6. This one's on Today I Messed Up. Today I messed up by getting banned from McDonald's. For the past few months, I'd been taking advantage of a promotional deal on the McDonald's app where one can snag their breakfast sandwich for a mere $1.50, a significant markdown from its usual price of $4.89. A steal, right? These deals, as many of you might know, are often used as loss leaders by companies to draw customers in, with the hope that they'll purchase additional items at regular prices. However, my transactions with McDonald's were purely transactional. I was there for the deal and nothing else. My order history was a monotonous stream of $1.50 breakfast sandwiches and nothing more. To me, it was a way of maximizing value from a company that surely wouldn't miss a few dollars here and there, especially given their billion-dollar revenues. But it seems that my frugal tactics caught the eye of the McDonald's account review team. This morning, as I attempted to log in and claim my daily dose of discounted breakfast, I was met with a message that struck me as both absurd and slightly flattering. My account has been banned for abusing their promotional deals. At first, I thought it was a mistake. How could taking advantage of a deal they offered be considered abuse? It's not as if I'd hacked the system or used illicit means to claim the offer. It was there in the app available for anybody to use. Yet here I am cast out of the Golden Arches digital embrace, all because I relished their deal a bit too enthusiastically. What puzzles me is the precedent this sets. Where do we draw the line between making the most of a promotional offer and abusing it? If a company offers a deal, should there not be an expectation that customers will in fact use it? And if that usage is deemed too frequent, does that not reflect a flaw in the promotional strategy rather than customer misconduct? Yeah, that's super confusing. I wouldn't imagine that you would get banned for this. I feel like this might have been a mistake. This comment says, I don't think this is real. I've been exclusively using promos for years now. Yeah, like there would be so many people doing the exact same thing as OP. Yeah, I feel like if you made a new account OP, it'd be completely fine. The top comment says, just make a new email. Boom, new account. And the second top comment says, I refuse to eat at McDonald's without using a deal from their app. So if this one is legit, I suppose I'll probably be joining you sooner rather than later. Yeah, that's right. I feel like a lot of people would do what OP's been doing. You're not like scamming them or something. They're the ones who have the deals. Yeah, confusing. Okay, moving on to post number 7. This one is back on Am I the A-hole? Am I the a-hole for getting into a huge argument with my parents after they constantly criticize my husband, even though he's the best partner I could be asking for? So here's the thing, I've been married to my husband for a year now, and I honestly don't even know how I got so lucky. He's the best husband I could ever ask for. He's kind, funny, laughing, hardworking, and just all around amazing. I know I'm biased, but I really do believe I hit the jackpot with him. But my parents have never liked him. I don't even know why. It started small at first, small comments here and there like how he doesn't talk enough at family dinners, or how he doesn't help as much as they think he should, thinking maybe they were just getting used to him or whatever. I tried to tell them that he works a lot and he's doing his best to help out when he can, but it felt like they were still picking at him for no reason. And over time it got worse. They started to question everything about him. His job, his attitude. I defended him every time, but it got to the point where it started wearing on me. I kept on telling them they were being unfair and they needed to stop, but it just didn't seem to sink in. Every time we got together, they'd make little digs, and it started to feel like they were just waiting for any excuse to criticize him. So last night we had dinner at my parents' house and things went south pretty quick. We were just eating and chatting, and then my dad made some comment about how my husband lacked ambition because his job isn't as high paying as they think it should be. Oh my god. Then my mum jumped in saying that he wasn't engaged with the family the way that she expected. I was so furious. My husband was sitting right there, and I could see how uncomfortable uncomfortable he was getting? Yeah, of course. It was like they were just ripping him apart in front of everybody. At that point, I lost it. I told him they needed to stop treating my husband like he wasn't good enough. I told them that he's an amazing man. He works hard for our family, and if they couldn't see that, then they don't have to be a part of it anymore. Yeah, good job, OP. I might have said it louder than I should have, but I was so fed up with their constant criticisms. My husband does not deserve that, and neither do I. The room went completely silent after that. My dad tried to defend himself, saying that he was only trying to help. Yeah, bullshit you were. It felt like they were just using their quote-unquote concern as an excuse to tear him down, and I wasn't going to stand by and let it happen anymore. The rest of the night was super awkward, and my husband ended up feeling really uncomfortable too, which I hated. Afterwards, I did apologize to him, but I don't regret what I said to my parents. They needed to hear it. Yeah, absolutely. Now they're not talking to me, and some of my extended family members are saying I overreacted. Not your business, extended family members. They think I should have kept my cool and not made such a big deal out of it. OP, their opinion on this doesn't mean anything. But honestly, I don't think I was wrong. No, you definitely were not wrong. I've been patient with them for months, and they kept on going at him. My husband doesn't deserve to be constantly criticized, and I'm not just going to sit back and let it happen. So am I the a-hole for standing up for my husband and causing a rift in the family? Absolutely not. You did such an amazing job, OP. Your family, by the sounds of it, are a bunch of a-holes, and you meant to stand up for your partner, and that's what you did. You did an amazing job. The top comment says 100% not the a-hole. You did the right thing standing up for him in front of your parents. They sound like the a-hole. Stand your ground. This comment says you absolutely did the right thing, not the a-hole. You did everything you would hope that he would have done for you if the roles were reversed. I would cease communicating with them until they apologized, and immediately end any visit or call with them in the future if they start up again. Boundaries. They need boundaries. Also, feel free to mention that if they lose access to you now, they'll lose access to any future grandchildren. Yeah, they need to stop being a-holes, and they need to do it really fast. Like, that sort of disrespect and that sort of behavior is never going to be acceptable. Like, constantly picking at their partner, how dare you? They need to apologize to you ASAP, OP, because with that sort of behavior, they're going the right way for you to not talk to them anymore. But yeah, like that comment said, if they try to do this again, OP, you have to shut it down immediately. And there should be consequences too. Okay, moving on to post number 8. This one's also on Am I the A-hole? Am I the a-hole for cutting contact with my childhood best friend because she demanded that I break up with my fiance? Hey everybody, I, 21 female, cut contact with one of my closest childhood friends, Mary, 21 female, a few weeks ago. While I feel relieved that she's out of my life, most of my family and mutual friends think that I overreacted, and now I'm starting to second guess myself. I'm going to put some rather irrelevant background information here. Mary and I pretty much grew up as sisters. We were neighbors, and our parents started arranging playdates for us before we could even walk. From kindergarten to secondary school, we did everything together. If I wasn't at her house, she was at mine. I trusted her completely, and I never thought of her as anything other than my best friend. Things changed when Mary moved away for university. At first I missed her, but over time I noticed how much easier my life felt without her constant presence. I wasn't being criticized or guilt-tripped or forced to justify my choices anymore. It became clear how much control she'd had over me. Mary had a way of dominating every aspect of my life. She'd dismiss my hobbies and pressure me to quit them, and if she didn't like one of my friends, I'd have to cut ties. You could call me a pushover, but when you grow up with somebody like that, it's hard to see the manipulation for what it is. Things really came to a head when I met my now fiance Dave, 27 male. He's amazing, kind, supportive, and everything I've ever wanted in a partner. We clicked instantly, and he's the best thing that's ever happened to me. But of course, Mary didn't approve. She immediately tried to plant seeds of doubt, saying that he was too old, saying that he would cheat, or he was only using me. Thankfully, for once, I didn't listen to her, and I'm so glad that I didn't. In December, Dave surprised me with a dream vacation, and during the trip, he proposed. Everything about it was perfect. He planned every detail, and it was more magical than I could have ever imagined. I was over the moon, and I couldn't wait to share the news with everybody. Naturally, I told Mary expecting at least some excitement, but instead she downplayed the whole thing. She nitpicked the proposal, saying how she would have done it differently, and what could have been better. Oh, Mary sucks. It stung, but I brushed it off, and I reminded her that it was my proposal, not hers. A few weeks later, we met in person for the first time in months. That's when things completely fell apart. Out of nowhere, Mary told me that I should break up with Dave. When I asked her why, her reasoning had nothing to do with me. Instead, she compared him to her boyfriend, Julian, 22 male, saying stuff like Dave makes more money than Julian, and Dave can give you everything while I have to work for what I want. Oh, she's so jealous. It was so clear that she wasn't even concerned about me. She was just jealous. She couldn't handle the fact that for once my life seemed better than hers. That was the breaking point for me. I told her to leave my house, and afterward I sent her a long message explaining how hurt and how disappointed I was. I told her that her behavior was unacceptable, and that I didn't want her to contact me again. again. Since then, it feels like she's told everybody in our social circle, yeah, I'm sure she has, and I bet she tried to make herself look as good as she could. Mutual friends and even some family members have reached out, saying that I was too harsh and I should have handled things differently. Where do these people get off? It's so frustrating when we read stuff like this. Like, stay out of it, family members and mutual friends. It's not your concern. They said that's just how Mary is. You've known her your whole life. Yeah, well, that's even more reason to get rid of her. That's just how she is. She's rude and she's jealous and she says unacceptable sort of stuff. Like, what? That doesn't make her seem good? Like, that's just how Mary is. She's always been in the spotlight and gotten what she wanted. Some even accused me of breaking her heart and told me that it was wrong to choose my fiance over a lifelong friend. What? Oh my god. What absolute dingbat said that? Oh yeah, I'm gonna get rid of my amazing partner because of my jealous quote-unquote friend that's really not a good friend. Who said that? Even my mum said that she expected better of me. What? And that's what's making me question my decision. Did I overreact? No. Mary's been a huge part of my life for as long as I can remember. Yeah, sure, she has her flaws, but we've also shared countless good times and memories. Am I throwing away years of friendship over this? Should I try to fix things? Or was cutting her off the right choice? Yeah, like this comment says, bye Felicia. That is toxic. You need women or people in your life who will lift you up, not push you down. Cut her off. No invitation to wedding. Yeah, like what are the family members and the friends talking about? Mary's not a friend. You support your friends and their relationships. You don't tell them to break up with their partner and make up that they're gonna cheat on them because you're jealous because they've got a better relationship than what you've got. That's toxic a-hole behavior. OP said, I completely agree and I'm not planning on inviting her or speaking to her ever again. But it's honestly so painful to think about her not being part of my wedding. I've known her forever and all of my childhood memories include her. We've talked about our potential weddings a lot and how great it would be to have each other as our maid of honor. Yeah, but Mary's behavior is on her, OP, not you. You're not the one being a jealous, toxic friend. This comment says, yeah, you are throwing away years of friendship for your fiance. Thank the gods. Throwing away a quote-unquote friend who bullies and insults you, who uses guilt trips and emotional manipulation, and who wants to control your life as if you were her puppet. All for a fiance who's only been kind, supportive, generous, and thoughtful, and most importantly, makes you happy. Well done, and not the a-hole. Yeah, I can't believe this post. But also, you're not the one who's throwing away the friendship. Mary is OP, not you. You're throwing away the friendship because you're not going to put up with her crap anymore? Well, yeah, that wasn't much of a friendship anyway. And she's definitely not a good friend, OP. Yeah, okay, we need to move on. Moving on to story number 9. This one's on the Today I Messed Up subreddit. Today I messed up by visiting a Japanese bathhouse. Okay, so this happened a fair few years ago, but still, it haunts me. Back in 2017, I was in my final year of university, and I got the opportunity to spend 5 weeks in Tokyo for an exchange observership. One of the items on my bucket list was to visit a sento, traditional indoor Japanese bathhouse. I wanted to go somewhere a little bit less touristy, and luckily there was a place only a few blocks away from where I was staying, like 45 minutes out of the central city. Not wanting to make an idiot of myself, I did some research beforehand regarding what to expect and how to act. One thing mentioned was that you have to wash yourself before you hop in the pool. I didn't have a travel bottle of soap or body wash, but I read that you can buy it at most places, and if not, then it will often be supplied. When I got there, I realized nobody spoke English, and although I was able to pay for my entry, I couldn't communicate about the soap, nor could I see any for purchase behind the counter. I assumed that there would be some in the actual bathing area, so I stripped down naked in the changing room, put my clothes in a locker, and I proceeded into the actual bathing room. On the left-hand side of the room, there were like 15 or so washing stations. To the right was the big pool. There were a few old men sitting, well, more like squatting on tiny footstool things, washing themselves. I was the only non-Japanese person there, and alas, there was no soap in sight. Then I spied just to the left of the entrance on a table, a small woven basket that had like 7 bars of soap in it. This was where I made my big up. I assumed that this was the communal soap basket. I grabbed a bar of soap and I walked over to one of the washing stations to get to business. One of the old Japanese guys saw me doing this and started glaring at me and muttering something under his breath. This would have been the time to return the soap to the basket and call it a day, but I'm a idiot, so that didn't happen. Shortly after, another old Japanese man gets out of the bath and walks over to the table, picks up the basket of soap, exchanges words with the guy who glared at me, and then proceeds to also start glaring at me and saying something in what I'm pretty sure was an angry tone. This is when I realized with horror shower that the basket was in fact his, and I'd just stolen one of his bars of soap. By this point, I'd already lathered myself up, however, so handing the soap back to him clearly wasn't an option. I awkwardly tried to apologize, but I could see it wasn't well received. I didn't see any other option except to finish washing myself, but the next issue was that I had nowhere to put the soap. I didn't have a toiletries bag with me, and there were no rubbish bins anywhere. Red-faced, completely naked, dying a million deaths inside, continuously rubbing soap on myself and breaking it up into small enough chunks so it could go down the drain. I'm sure the Japanese men continued glaring and cursing at me, but I didn't make any further eye contact with them, so I can't be completely sure. After this ordeal was over, I rinsed myself off, I got up and I entered the bath. The water was incredibly hot, however, and this, along with the shame and embarrassment washing over me, made for a thoroughly unenjoyable experience. I only stayed in there for about 5 minutes before slinking out back to the safety of my touristy accommodation. Yeah, like the top comment says, the funniest bit is that you stayed in the shower, desperately trying to use up the entire bar of soap. Like, not only did you steal the guy's soap bar, you literally vaporized it while showering. This comment says, imagine if some dude came into your gym locker room and stole your soap, and while you're passively aggressively waiting for him to finish, he just keeps using it until it's all gone, and then leaves without saying Yeah, that's so wild. Definitely an experience that you're not going to forget, OP. And moving on to story number 10. This one's back on the Am I the A-hole subreddit. Am I the a-hole for not offering to host my niece's shower? I'm the one in my family that hosts get-togethers and holidays and graduation parties and showers. I am an event planner and I own a small event hall, so it just makes sense. Plus, I do enjoy it. My side of the family is huge. Lots of siblings and kids. I have always offered up my event hall and planning for their use, even though it comes at a cost for my business. My niece, now 25 female, we'll call her Mary, has taken me up on that 3 times in the past for her post-elopement party and 2 baby showers. For each of those, she gave me no directions. Just said, do whatever you want. So I did, trying to keep her in mind. At her first baby shower, she turned up 30 minutes late in raggedy sweats, stayed long enough to eat and gather up the presents, and then she left. No thank yous offered. My brother and sister-in-law, her parents, made excuses, saying the pregnancy was very rough, so we made allowances for that. At her post-elopement dinner, she again showed up late, stayed on her phone the whole time, and then ate and left. Again, no thank yous. When my mother commented on that, my brother said that she was going through some newlywed stress as an excuse. Yeah, that's not an excuse to not say thank you or show any sort of gratitude. Her second baby shower started the same way. When she asked me to gather up all the presents so she could leave, I suggested that she stay and open them so everybody can enjoy seeing what was given. She scoffed and said, I don't want to stay at these little parties any longer than I have to, and I decided not to offer my little parties to her in the future. Fast forward to her sister's wedding shower. We have a delightful time. Even though Mary has done the usual eat and then leave without offering to help or just be there for her sister, my brother and I are loading up the presents when he mentions that Mary is expecting again, and when can I host the shower? I told him that I wouldn't be offering this time around and why. He was taken aback and said that he was surprised I was letting that comment get under my skin, but whatever, my choice. You're surprised that that comment got under OP's skin? Really, dude? The next day, I get an irate call from Mary. I remind her that she said she didn't care for my party, so why does she want it anyway? It turns out that she got rid of all of her baby supplies and needs a shower to get the presents. Wow. I told her to post the registry online, and I'm sure people would help her out. She got angry and she hung up. Then my brother calls. He says that I'm being childish. No, you're not. I told him that if he wants the shower, he can pay for it. And I gave him the standard quote for that event cost. He just sputtered and said they'd have somebody else host. The family's divided. How? I still feel like I'm not being unreasonable. Am I the a-hole? Not even a little bit. Mary's an entitled brat. Yeah, like the top comment says, not the a-hole. She shows zero appreciation for people, you going to the trouble to arrange events, and basically uses you to gather people to give her stuff without any effort or financial responsibility on her part. Basically, she expects everything to be given to her, and her spoiled majesty is aghast that you won't keep up her status quo. Your brother and others are just enabling her. Nobody seems to register that it costs you time and money for somebody who doesn't appreciate it in the least. The second top comment says, not the a-hole, and who has a baby shower for every kid. She's 25. It's not like this was a 10 years down the line surprise. And why isn't she keeping her baby stuff instead of using you to crowdsource the gifts? She and her parents are so entitled. I'm sure others in your extended family have noticed that she can't even pretend to be thankful before collecting her gifts and stuffing her face and leaving. Yeah, and like this comment says too, that's hilarious. Somebody is being childish, but it's not you, not the a-hole. Yeah, and also like this one says, not the a-hole. She sounds like a spoilt brat. Yeah, for sure. And moving on to the next one, it's time for post number 11. Am I the a-hole for not helping my mum not lose her house? I, female 29, have always had a pretty close relationship with my mum. We lived about an hour from each other, which I know isn't far, but we both had our own homes and our own lives. I always called her for everything. She used to ask me to go out and have like dinner or go see a movie. We were pretty close up until this. Growing up, my mum made a lot of mistakes. Don't think I'm not grateful for my mum, I am, but she had a terrible gambling addiction, owed some real bad people money, moved close to 10 times between the ages of 7 to about the time I was 18 due to evictions or mortgage foreclosures, and has been into hard drugs in and out during my life. May of 2023, I called my mum and asked her about what we should do for Mother's Day and or her birthday. Her birthday is a week after Mother's Day, and we normally just celebrate one or the other. Knowing that she worked for her birthday, I asked her did she want to do something on Mother's Day instead, since I work a later swing shift and I could do something before work. She proceeds to tell me that she has the day off, and I was shocked. I ask her how, and she goes, I quit, I don't work there anymore. Obviously, I was confused and I asked her for more, and she gave me some BS story. Later in the next few months, I found out that she actually got fired for doing drugs in the parking lot at her job. I've tried during the rest of this time until recently to get her to talk to me about this, or to get her some help like a rehab or something like that. She's never been interested in getting help. She hasn't worked since May of 2023 now. All she does is stay at home, do drugs, and call me at 3 in the morning with some random crap that she's hyped up about, and tells me all the projects that she's doing and stuff about her dogs. It breaks my heart that she's still trying to update me in her life, but I can't stand to talk to her now. As of a week ago, I found out that my mum is now so far behind on her mortgage that it's going into foreclosure. Her and her also drug addict husband, at least he has a good paying job, are trying to scrounge up enough money to buy their home back from the bank. He makes a good amount of money, but clearly they haven't been spending their money on the damn mortgage. They owe 178 grand on the mortgage, and they need to get 6,000 to cover the late payments, and then they need to apply for the loan. My mum calls me and asks me if I could lend her the money. I told her how could I trust that the money would be going to the mortgage and not her drug addiction. She tells me I don't know what you're talking about, like she's always said in my life. I tell her no, I won't give her the money. She cries to me begging me to give her the money or she's gonna lose her home. I tell her to get a job and I hung up. I start to explode with tears because I'm so heartbroken and sad for her, and I feel terrible for not giving her the money, but I just don't know what to do. Am I the a-hole? Yeah, like the top comment says, not the a-hole. Never give a drug addict or gambling addict any money. If you want to help pay down any of the 6,000 they owe, you can work it out directly with the bank. It sounds like maybe between you and her husband, she might have a chance to save the house. Banks are more than happy to take money, and they don't care who it's coming from. You just need to know a few details, like which company holds the mortgage and wants to foreclose. And OP said, I can't get any info out of her sadly. I've seen the letters about the bank and mortgage company when I'd come over, and I was there when they called her and she was crying into the phone asking them to not take her house. I left and I went home not wanting to be in her business, but then she called me and that's when she asked me. It was so hard. I don't even know if then I'd do it. I can't trust that she'll either pay me back or that she won't let it happen again. Yeah, that's a good point, OP. Like you could go to the bank and you could pay this off for your mum. But yeah, this could happen again and again and again. The second top comment says, not the a-hole, but if you do wish to help, go to the bank holding the loan and pay them directly. Of course, in a few more months, you'll probably be in the same situation. You can't help somebody who doesn't see the need for help or does not want the help. Yeah, that's a really hard situation. Okay, moving on to story number 12. This one's on Today I Messed Up. Today I messed up by returning an iPad that I found to a flight attendant. So today I may be f***ed up. Co-worker and I are boarding a flight and we finally get to what we thought was our row, 15C and 15F. They're both aisle seats, so we're sitting across from each other. After being seated for a minute, I started looking at the row numbers again, and I realized we were actually in row 16C and 16F instead of 15C and 15F. So in between everybody trying to go past and get seated, we scooted ahead a row and we sat down really fast. After about 5 minutes of being seated, I started reaching for my seatbelt, and I found an iPad behind my back in the seat. I don't know how I didn't feel it before or even see the purple case in the seat before I sat down. I guess I wasn't really looking while I was trying to get out of people's way. As far as I know, nobody was ever sitting in the seat, so I thought somebody left it from a previous flight because the guy next to me also didn't know whose it was, and neither did my co-worker. So I called the flight attendant and I gave it to her. Fast forward 20 minutes later and we're still on the ground, and the last couple of people are boarding. The girl in front of me turns around and asks me if there's anything in the pocket of her seat. My eyes now widen and I realize what happened. I asked her, what exactly are you looking for? And she said an iPad. I said, oh, you're good. I gave it to the flight attendant. So we tell the flight attendant and she comes back 3 minutes later saying that they gave it to the gate agent, thinking that somebody had left it behind from the previous flight. And they said they were working on getting it back, but if they don't, they've got her information and they'll hopefully get it back to her. My heart sunk as I heard that, and I couldn't help but feeling bad about what had just happened. The good news is she lives in the city that we were taking off from, and they know what seat she was in and her information. So So I'd like to think that she eventually gets it back at some point. This comment says, you didn't up. They did. Why is their iPad in your seat? Who does that? You did the proper thing, as did the flight attendant. That's the protocol. And the comment below that too, let's be real, that's not a huge up. It's just an honest mistake. Yeah, for sure, on everybody's part, it's an honest mistake. An honest mistake of the person who left it there. And OP definitely didn't mess up. You did the right thing, OP. Okay, time for post number 13. Back on Am I the A-hole? Am I the A-hole for quitting my part-time job to stop my parents using my money on my siblings? I, 16 male, started doing stuff to make money when I was 13. Babysitting, mowing lawns, running errands for neighbors, stuff like that. Then I was able to help out at a friend's parents' store for a bit of extra cash. And then I was finally able to get a real part-time job. The thing is though, the money wasn't ever really mine. My parents are bad with money and they like to spoil my younger siblings. 10 female, 8 male, 7 male, and 5 female. So their money gets spent on them and then they freak out because they don't have money for Christmas or their birthdays and they have to put a lot of pressure onto me to give it to them. Sometimes they stole it. And when I confided in some other adults about it, I was told that being under 18 meant there was nothing I could do except trying to talk it out. I did try to, but talking to my parents is so frustrating and they didn't care about logic or how calm I am or how well I make my point. I rehearsed before talking to them and everything. They argued back each time that my siblings are younger and that they don't deserve to be hurt because of my crappy teenage attitude or my entitlement because I think I should be treated the same as them when I'm way older. What? For 3 years running, they were taking money from me to spend on my siblings. Oh, your parents suck. Not just for their birthdays or Christmas, but other times too. For no other reason than just because. Yeah, how dare they? I argued back a few times in frustration too, but you know that never goes anywhere and a couple of weeks ago I quit my job and I told my parents I won't work again until I'm out of their house. Yeah, good job, OP. They grounded me until yesterday and we fought about it yesterday. I'll be grounded in another week if I don't get my job back or get another job. They told me it was a selfish and stupid thing to do. They told me that I should understand that life isn't always equal and that I'm expecting too much from them. Am I the a-hole? You expecting them not to steal from you is expecting too much, is it? Oh, I hope this one's rage bait. Like, what do they mean you're expecting too much from them? God, they're awful. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole. I'm so sorry your parents are such greedy, entitled thieves. Yeah, terrible parents. Like the top comment says, not the a-hole, stand your ground, study, learn a language, make new friends, delve into your hobbies. You're a kid, so act like one. No need to work, especially since you get no benefits from doing so. Yeah, but OP's parents are forcing them to. And OP said the benefit should be saving to get away from them, but I can't save. So there's no benefit for me, like you said. Ugh, I hate it. Yeah, like OP's parents are not reasonable. By the sounds of it, you can't reason with them. And also, OP's only 16. Can you get a bank account that they don't know about or something? The second top comment says, tell them that life isn't equal and that they're expecting too much from you. They're failing at adulting and parenting, not the a-hole. Yeah, they really are failing at being parents. Yeah, that's so messed up because you need to be saving money so you can get away from your parents, but you're not even able to because they take it. Yeah, good luck to OP. And moving on to story number 14. Am I the a-hole for telling my mum that just because she works and pays the bills, that doesn't mean that she can stop with her motherly duties? I, 16 female, live with my mum and my stepdad and my twin sister and my little brother, my little sister and my older brother for the time being. I cook, I clean, I make sure my 8 female sister, my 14 male brother and my 16 female twin sister are all up for school in the morning, and on top of all of that, I work and go to school myself. Oh no, parentified to the max. Yesterday I told my mum that I needed a mental health day because I literally do everything. She looked at me like I had 3 heads and told me what do I do? And I just got so mad I snapped. I packed a bag and I left the house. I stayed at my boyfriend's house for like 3 days. I didn't answer a single text or a call or anything. I just need today for myself. And after the 3 days were up, I went home and it was a mess everywhere. My room was a mess, the kitchen was a mess, the living room was a mess, everything. And the first thing that my mum told me when I walked in was to clean up. Then I yelled at her and I told her, just because you work and pay the bills, it doesn't mean you can stop with your motherly duties. I shouldn't be taking care of everybody in the house and then myself. I'm only 16. She said, you're the older sister, you should be doing the stuff anyway. And I told her that I'm a twin and there's other people in this house that can clean up and do all the other stuff. So am I the a-hole? No, of course not. The top comment says, not the a-hole. Your mother has kids, but expects you to be their mother. Nope. Yeah, the comment below that, parentification is a thing and it's abuse. Yeah, OP's been completely parentified. The second top comment says, not the a-hole. Clean your room, get up in the morning, get ready for school and leave. There are no babies in that house that need to be taken care of 24/7, and your mother and stepfather are responsible for taking care of their children, not the a-hole. Today I messed up by misunderstanding what world's strongest coffee actually meant. Okay, so technically this was on Monday, but definitely one of the biggest mistakes I've made in my life. So for context, I absolutely love really strong dark coffee. There's a running joke amongst my friends that I drink jet fuel because I brew it so heavy. For whatever reason, that strong flavor psychologically gives me kind of a dopamine rush, and it wakes me up before the caffeine hits. Anyways, on Monday, I had a really important client meeting, and my boss had flown into town for said meeting, so I had to meet her at a hotel pretty early in the morning, and it was across town, so I had to get up way earlier than usual, and I was not having it that morning. Since I was not handling waking up early and I was kind of in a rush, I hurriedly made my coffee and I made it strong. At the store, I'd come across this coffee called Death Wish coffee, which was coined as the world's strongest coffee at one point. So I cracked it open, I gave the filter a heavy fill, and I scurried away to do other morning stuff. I was really excited to try it. In my mind, strong was synonymous with the actual taste, not the caffeine content. For context, the company doesn't release the actual caffeine content, but a test show a 12-ounce cup ranges from 300 to 750 milligrams, depending on how you brew it. Oh my god! Judging by not so light brewing habits, I'm sure that number was far closer to the 750. Yeah, that's not good. As I'm going about my morning, I'm hammering it down pretty fast, slightly disappointed. It was strong, but not what I was expecting out of world's strongest, but hey, whatever, it works. After the first few sips, I look at the clock and I realize I'm running out of time. So I say f it, and I just take my coffee with me to the shower where I can finish it off. A few minutes into my shower while I'm lathering up and jamming out to Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift, you know, as us dudes who are married to Swifties do, I start absolutely buzzing. At first it was just kind of like that tremble and I'm like, huh? And I cracked it up to drinking coffee on an empty stomach, but over the next few minutes that feeling gradually increased and I had the full-on shakes and I felt hot. At this point I put two and two together. Strong caffeine equals caffeine content. Oopsies. A little bit concerned, I hopped out of the shower and I grabbed my phone. I googled the amount of caffeine and I saw that 750 number and I was like, oh this sent me into a full-on caffeine-induced panic attack. The first panic attack of my life. My legs gave out from the shakes and my heart was pounding while I laid in the fetal position on the ground, trying to chill myself out. I thought I was having an actual heart attack. At the time, there was a little bit of irony in my mind that as a guy in my late 20s who powerlifts and works out 5 days a week, my cause of death would be via a heart attack caused by being a dumbass and more or less shotgunning 750 milligrams of caffeine. Not the way that I thought I'd go, but I accepted my fate in that moment. I called for my wife, who was extremely confused, very concerned, and her being frantic about me being frantic made me feel even worse. But when I explained it, she calmed down, realized that I probably wasn't dying, and just said, oh yeah, that'll do it, and just laid on the floor and pet me like our dogs, and handed me her water off the sink counter. Then the farts happened. In my panic attack, I started aggressively farting uncontrollably. Not just regular farts or squeakers, but full-blown ground-shaking ass rippers every 5 to 10 seconds. Quite impressive and in rapid succession. My wife started dying laughing and just patted me on the head and started saying like, there, that's it, honey. Just fart it out. You'll be fine. So yeah, I'm glad that she got some enjoyment out of it because I was not having a great time laying there buck-ass naked, still wet on the bathroom floor in the fetal position, farting uncontrollably and shaking. After about 15 minutes, I chilled out a little bit and I realized I was okay, and my wife kept an eye on my heart rate and stuff just to make sure that I wasn't actually having a heart attack, and for the rest of the day, I was so wired and definitely a little bit traumatized now, but I think it's funny. I ended up missing the meeting and my boss was a little bit pissed that she flew down there, but hey, happens. Sometimes we're dumbasses and drink way too much caffeine. My question is, who in the actual wants that much caffeine at once? Update, I consulted with my doctor casually to make sure that this wasn't anything to be worried about and gave him a list of supplements I take. It turns out one of the supplements I take, OTC, is a high dosage for muscle pumps, nitric oxide boosters before workouts. It's meant to expand your blood vessels and increase blood flow. Its normal dosage is a major component within blood pressure medications used for certain diabetics, and most notably in comparable doses, ED medications are like 33% nitric oxide apparently, which can confirm, no, 100% helps firm things up beyond muscles during workouts if you fellas want a cheat code. Okay, but a side effect of expanded vessels from this sensitivity to substances within 24 hours of use, and specifically caffeine and alcohol, especially in quote-unquote high intake situations, can be dangerous. Yeah, that explains a lot, lol. So any of my workout folks who take nitric oxide, arginine beetroot, or ED medication, this is apparently a side effect of that. Wow, okay, that's actually terrifying. Yeah, like the top comment says, at least it was only a fart attack and not got a heart attack. Yeah, that's so scary, OP. Like, oh, okay, I'm having a heart attack. That's so terrifying. And moving on to the next story, this one is also on Today I Messed Up. Today I messed up by listening to what my wife said without questioning it. I'm sitting here in front of the washing machine wondering how the I got here. This up happened approximately 30 minutes ago. I had just successfully fixed the garage door. The guide wheel had popped out of the guide track and was causing the garage door to go up and down in a weird grinding manner. I was super proud and I came upstairs from the basement and my wife had just finished walking the dog and came in the front door. I greeted her, excited to brag to her about how I just fixed the garage door. She handed me the poop bag and told me to toss it for her. And I put the dog poop to the side as I was telling her about how I fixed the garage door. A fly appeared out of nowhere on the wall right next to where we were talking. I've dealt with a lot of flies before and I'm actually really good at killing them. The key is the flick of the wrist. You need to swing fast and hard and just slap down on the fly with a vengeance so that you can make contact before it bolts away. I lined up my hand and I was about to execute when she yelled at me, "Ew, don't use your hand." I looked around and I saw a flip-flop near the door and she was like, "Just use the poop bag." I picked up the little green poop bag, I lined up my shot and I slapped the shit out of that fly. When the bag made impact with the wall, it burst open. Crap flew everywhere. Yeah, of course it did. It sprayed on my face, it got in my hair, it was on the floor, it was on the walls. When I looked down, a big chunk was just in the center of my shirt and it was on my jeans. I stood there in disbelief as my wife burst out laughing. My two young sons were just coming around the corner and watched it happen and they started rolling on the floor crying in laughter. Everybody was laughing and having a great time. As I stood there wondering what the had just happened, I took a shower and then I realized that my only work appropriate jeans had got dog shit on them. So I went downstairs to do some laundry. As I sit here in front of the washing machine, I'm still left wondering, did I even kill the fly? Edit, I woke up this morning and I saw how many upvotes this got and I showed my wife. She got upset that people are going to think that she's an idiot for suggesting the poop bag. So I need to add some context. In her defense, she thought the fly was one of those slow moving halfway dead flies and she was expecting me to just smush the fly with the bag and then throw it away. In my defense, I was preoccupied and beaming with pride about how I just fixed the garage door. So when I was presented with my foe, the fly, I went into fight mode without even thinking and I just attacked. I did not process in my mind how fragile the doggy poop bag was. I just assumed it was like a Ziploc bag. I really wasn't thinking because I just saved hundreds of dollars by not having to call the garage door guy. Update. Number 1, kids were still laughing about it this morning. So a core memory was probably unlocked. Number 2, garage door has been moving beautifully this morning. A Redditor said he just spent $422 to fix his garage door. So I confirmed I just saved a shitload of money. And number 3, life status of the fly, still unknown. But I am optimistic that he's dead. Overall, life is good. Yeah, the top comment. I'm speechless. Yeah, okay, I need to kill this fly. I'm gonna smack it really hard with a bag full of dog poo. Yeah, that's a good idea, OP. The second top comment says this is as good as the guy that flung the steak at the closed window while at dinner with his wife's boss. Oh my god, I'm not familiar with that, but I need to be. That sounds hilarious. But yeah, that was hilarious, OP. This comment says, oh, to be a fly on the wall during this interaction. Yeah, and getting covered in dog poo. Wow, that's so funny. Okay, moving on to the next post. This one's back on Am I the A-hole? Am I the a-hole for asking my friend to leave my birthday dinner because she made the entire night about her? So I, 28 female, just had my birthday dinner last weekend. I invited a close group of friends to a nice restaurant and everybody was in a good mood until my friend Claire, 29 female, showed up. For some context, Claire has always had a bit of a dramatic streak, but I never thought that she'd pull something like this. The night started off great, but the moment Claire walked in, she sighed loudly and said, "Oh, sorry, I almost didn't make it. It's been such a terrible day." Naturally, we asked her what happened because, well, we're decent people. She launched into a story about her ex texting her, how work's been draining her, and how she's feeling really emotionally fragile right now. At first, I was sympathetic. Everybody has bad days, but as the night went on, she kept on steering the conversation back to herself. Somebody would try to talk about something lighthearted, like their new job or a recent trip, and Claire would somehow find a way to turn it into something about her struggles. "Oh, you went to Italy? That must be nice. I can't even afford a vacation because I'm paying for therapy." Or, "Oh, you got a promotion? Must be nice to have your life together." By the time dessert came, I was barely holding it together. I didn't want to make a scene, but I was so frustrated that my birthday dinner had become a Claire's pity party. I quietly asked her if we could maybe focus on something more positive, and she rolled her eyes and said, "Wow, sorry I'm not cheerful enough for you on your special day." That was it for me. I calmly told her that if she was was upset and needed support, maybe she should call it a night and head home. She got really defensive, said that I was being insensitive, and stormed out. The rest of the evening was fine after that, but the damage was done. Now Claire's texting our mutual friend saying that I humiliated her and that she was just being honest about her feelings. Some friends think I was justified. Others think I should let it slide because Claire is just like that. Honestly, I don't think I did anything wrong. Who hijacked somebody's birthday like that? So Reddit, am I the a-hole for asking her to leave my birthday dinner? The top comment says, not the a-hole. You know why Claire is just like that? Because people keep on letting things like this slide. Maybe you'll end up a trendsetter after this and inspire others to stop putting up with her self-centered attention-seeking nonsense. The comment below that one says, not the a-hole. You were trying to have a positive celebration and she turned it into all about her. It's not wrong to want your birthday to be about you, especially when it's your special day. She should have gotten support from her therapist or friends at another time, not hijacked your dinner. You gave her a chance to adjust and she didn't take it. You deserve a peaceful celebration and her reaction was on her, not you. Yeah, you said, I quietly asked her if we could maybe focus on something more positive. And she rolled her eyes and said, wow, sorry, I'm not cheerful enough for you on your special day. Yeah, like when you said that, she could have been like, yeah, okay, I can definitely do that. And like that comment said, adjust her behavior. But no, she just doubled down. Yeah, like sorry that this is meant to be a positive, happy celebration. Yeah, the consensus is definitely not the a-hole. And I feel like that's a good place to end the episode. We need to read something wholesome. Oh, cute. This one's another comic by Jim Benton. When it's hard to look on the bright side, I'll try to make this side a little brighter. Oh, that's so unbelievably cute. Good job, Jim Benton. We've read so many different ones by Jim Benton and they're always so good. When it's hard to look on the bright side, I'll try to make this side a little brighter. Yeah, that's so beautiful and a beautiful place to end the episode. That was such a wild episode and an absolute adventure. I know I say that every episode is an absolute adventure, but that really was an absolute adventure. I really appreciate the support, everybody, and thank you for watching the videos. I had such a good time today and I hope you guys did too. And if you did, make sure you like and subscribe if you want to. And the comment of the day goes to Moon Cheesy. I love sitting at home painting and watching Vincey. Greetings from Sweden. Me and my cats love your videos. Keep it up. Oh, that's so awesome. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. And you're watching the videos from Sweden? That is so cool. And say hello to your cats for me. And thank you for the support. It means so much to me. And I'll see you absolute legends in the next episode. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And I'll see you next time. Bye.